First question on the right, Jeff.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Rick, it was alluded to the other night about how much the game has changed in your time as a head coach, but you've always stayed on top of the offensive evolution. And I wanted to know, what do you enjoy about the way the game is played today that appeals to your offensive sensibilities?
Speed, skill. I think the skill aspect is the thing that's the most compelling part of the game, and we're getting to a point now where everybody on the floor, not 100% all the five men, but all the guys 1 through 4 can make threes, drive it, make plays, and we're getting to a point now where more of the five men can do that than not, and so it's just it's made the game a lot more difficult to defend, obviously, but the skill aspect of it is, to me, always going to be the most compelling part about the beauty of watching the game and the challenge and the beauty of teaching the game.
Rick, Bob Kravitz from Indy Monthly, to your right.
Yeah.
Right. What sets Drew apart as a defensive player? He doesn't have jump out of the gym athleticism, but he's got great functional athleticism. What sets him apart, makes him good at what he does?
Well, he loves the challenge. He has a great intellectual curiosity about defense and the challenge of, trying to, you don't stop players today. You try to make it hard. And he played with Shea on the Olympic team, and so they have familiarity. They're both from Canada. They probably have played a lot with and against each other over the years. But this is the ultimate challenge. A guy like him who's the MVP, and he's just so skilled, so quick, bigger than you think. Everybody talks about the lethal mid-range, but he makes threes easily too, and he lives at the free throw line. So there's no breaks. There's no breaks. But Drew he's one of these guys that he has an equal focus on the defensive end as the offensive end, and it's a bit rare with today's players.
Again, on your right, Fred.
Rick, I'm curious to get your take. The Thunder foul a lot for a very good defense. Historically, normally really high-ranked defenses don't foul a ton. We're starting to see more in the league now. Like, you guys have fouled a lot during the playoffs, but have been successful defensively. Orlando fouled a lot during the regular season. Really good defense. Are you seeing anything different in the way the game is played today that kind of allows teams to be higher foul but still super successful and bake that into the strategy differently than how it used to be?
You're making it sound like we plan on fouling a lot. We're not. We're trying to defend well without fouling and to avoid unnecessary fouls. But the game's gotten more physical in the last year and a half, whatever, as changes were made to interpretations. And I'm a believer that that's the right way to go. Nobody wants to come to an NBA game and watch a free throw shooting contest and have a game last for 3 hours. And so, I don't know, the game's more physical. As far as the fouls, it's not something we want to do a lot of. And there are a significant number of good defensive teams that don't foul a lot too. And so, Boston comes to mind. They're a low foul team. But we're still working at becoming better and better and better. And certainly one of our challenges is to reduce fouls.
Tim, here in the front.
Tim Reynolds, AP. Rick, everyone's written a lot about how you were 10-15, and then the turnaround started around the 1st of January. Paris was right, a couple weeks into that. Did that week over there bring this team together in some ways? What did that experience coming out of it? Did you notice something new about your group?
Well, it was the middle latter stages of January, which was our turnaround month. I think we only lost 2 games that month. One of the games was in Paris. And so, we lost the first game in Paris. And we're playing against Victor, and we've got all the Paris fans there. There's a lot coming at us. You know, it was literally us against, you know, the entire world. We didn't play well that first game. We had a pretty quick turnaround without really the benefit of the practice day because of how the schedule had gone. And so we had to turn things around pretty quickly if we were going to have a chance to win the second game. So, you know, we had a couple of very productive meetings, and there was a lot of conversation. You know, I like to open up our meetings to conversations and sometimes listen to the players first, you know, after a game like that. I mean, it was embarrassing. We lost by 30-something, you know, and Victor went crazy, and all their guys were, you know, played great. And so we talked through it, and it was an important moment going into the second game. I mean, this is a massive place. It's 20-some thousand, and just all these other challenges. And, you know, we were able to galvanize for that second game, and it was big. And then, you know, we stayed over, came home the next day, and then I think we had 2 days, and then we had a really difficult game with Detroit at home, who had kicked our ass, you know, 2 or 3 weeks earlier in one of the Cup games. And, you know, and they were still like on the come. They were getting better and better and better. And so we really had to be tough for that. And then we had another tough game, and, you know, we finished the month pretty well. I mean, that month was key. I mean, the Paris trip, certainly probably part of it. We talked a lot about the Paris trip even before the season started, and the challenges it was going to present, but also the opportunity that it would present. And, you know, we had to manage, you know, it's 2 games in 9 days. So, you know, you got the front end. We had to get over there and do 3 days of media similar to this. And then, you know, we had to have an off day as far as being on the court between days. And so, you know, we had to figure some things out. But it certainly was a part of it.
Last 2 questions, Joe and then Dan on the right.
Rick, Joe Barden from The Athletic. Not only watching you guys play for more than a month now, but also listening and talking to you guys after these games and practices. I know how much of a focus rebounding can be and how occasionally it's a challenge for you. You won the rebounding battle on Thursday, 56-39. How are you able to do that, and how much of a factor was it in the win?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned this after the game. We had turned it over so much and they had gotten 20 more shots than we got. And so there weren't as many chances for them to get rebounds because we were just, you know, throwing the ball away, or they were stealing it or whatever. So, look, the possession stats are always going to be massively important. Ball security, rebounding, the offensive glass, all that kind of stuff. You know, I don't think we're far enough into it yet to do a total analysis of everything. But, you know, like if we didn't win the rebounding battle and turned it over 25 times, I mean, there's no way we could have hung in and had a chance.
Dan, last one on the right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Rick, it was one of Shea's highest usage games of the season, lower pass out rate for him as well. We've seen something similar from you guys against Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, against Jalen Brunson in the New York series. What did you think about the defensive process on that number one option in the first game? And is that something that, it may be counterintuitive, but something that you guys look to play to like, let's get the number one usage guy going, everybody else maybe keep their rhythm out of it?
Yeah, we're not looking to get Shea going. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, coming into the series, I have it in my briefcase, but, you know, their wins, losses in the playoffs, you know, he was in the 30s in wins and he was in the low to mid 20s in losses. And so what you're saying doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, we want to make it hard. Look, each game in this series is gonna look different. I mean, every game in every other series we've played, it's just, you know, a playoff series is a series of 7 chapters, you know, and each one takes on a different personality. Look, we don't want Shea getting 38 points, you know, if we can avoid it. We don't want him living on the free throw line. We don't want him getting easy threes. We don't want him making that three at the end of the third quarter. I mean, that was a tough shot, but he banged that in on us. We got to make it hard on him. And look, everybody's pattern after a loss is to come more aggressively. So, he's going to be more aggressive. Williams is going to be more aggressive. Chet's going to be more aggressive. Their whole team's going to be even more aggressive defensively. And, the challenge for us is to be able to match that. And so, that's kind of it.
Thank you, Coach. Pascal will be right up.